They say dreams cost nothing, but no one tells you how heavy they are to carry when you're hungry. Not when your shoes have holes, and your friends call you crazy for chasing something they can't see. But I carried mine anyway, dragging it through every dusty field and back alley, wearing it like armor when life gave me scraps. I didn't dream for fun. I dreamed for survival. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Name's Leo. Not like Messi, though I hoped one day they'd say he was like me. I grew up where cleats were a luxury, and a football was whatever round object you could find rolling down the street. We had more potholes than pavement, more stray dogs than trees. But there was magic in the dust. If you looked past the peeling paint and broken windows, you could hear it in the thud of bare feet chasing a ball. I was 8 the first time I fell in love. Not with a girl, with a game. It happened on a rusted TV hanging by a thread of cable in a crowded barber shop. Brazil versus Argentina. The whole block was crammed into that room, sweating shoulder to shoulder, gasping in rhythm. And when that ball soared into the top corner of the net, I didn't see a goal. I saw my future. Only problem? My parents couldn't afford futures. We could barely afford lunch. My dad worked 2 jobs, sometimes 3, and still came home with his hands looking like cracked leather. My mom stretched every coin like a magician, turning rice and beans into a feast. There was no money for club fees or fancy boots. But I had legs. I had lungs. And I had time. So I played. Alone mostly. In the alley behind our building, in the lot behind the bakery. I kicked stones, crushed soda cans, half-flat volleyballs, anything I could chase. When the other kids laughed, I laughed louder. When they told me to get real, I kept playing. Sometimes, I'd sneak into the old park across town, the one with a field that still had a bit of grass. That's where I met the wall. It wasn't a real wall, just the side of a forgotten storage building. But it became my best opponent. I'd blast the ball at it over and over, pretending it was Ronaldo or Ronaldinho on the other side. The wall never got tired. Never took it easy. Taught me angles, timing, control. Taught me to get back up when the rebound hit me in the gut. One day, during a particularly intense one-on-one with the wall, I heard a voice behind me. "You play like you're angry." I turned around, panting. There was a man leaning on the fence. Old, scruffy beard, wearing a cap that looked like it had been through a war. He had a plastic bag in one hand and a half-eaten apple in the other. "Maybe I am," I said. He nodded. "Good. Anger can teach you things if you let it." He watched me for a while longer, didn't say a word, then just turned and walked away. I didn't think much of it at the time. Strangers wandered in and out of my world all the time. But the next day, he was back. And the day after that. Always watching. By the 4th day, I finally asked him, "You a scout or something?" He chuckled, like I just told the best joke in town. "Not quite. Used to coach, back when this field wasn't a landfill." "You any good?" He took a bite of that same apple. "Kid, I was good enough to spot talent. And you? You're raw, but you've got fire." His name was Coach Rami. Or just Coach, as I came to call him. He never told me much about his past, and I never asked. The streets teach you not to dig too deep into a man's history unless he offers it himself. But I knew a few things. He used to train school kids before the funding vanished. And he knew the game. He didn't have cones or fancy gear. Just 2 stones for goalposts and a voice that could make the ground shake. Discipline, he barked the first day, before dribbles. Control before glory. I learned fast. Because if I didn't, I'd be doing laps until the sun went down. He trained me in silence, mostly. No compliments. No high fives. Just nods when I did something right and grunts when I messed up. But I loved every minute of it. Some days, I couldn't even feel my legs when I got home. Mom thought I was working odd jobs. I didn't tell her the truth, because what was the point? Telling her I was chasing a dream would only make her worry more. Rami trained me every day after school, rain or shine. If I was 5 minutes late, the session was over. If I forgot my water bottle, I ran until my throat burned. One time, I told him I was tired. He looked at me dead in the eye. "Tired? Good. That means you're close to breaking through. Tired is where most kids quit. You're not most kids." It was the first compliment he ever gave me. I carried it like a medal. Weeks turned into months. I got faster, sharper. I could trap a ball mid-air with one foot while tying my shoe with the other. Or at least, that's how it felt. Then came the day that changed everything. It was after training. I was packing up when a man in a clean polo shirt and sunglasses walked up to Rami. They talked quietly, glancing my way now and then. The guy handed him something. An envelope. Rami waved me over. Leo, this is Ernesto. He works with a youth program connected to some big clubs. I froze. Like professional clubs? Ernesto smiled. You ever heard of Real Madrid? I dropped my water bottle. Rami handed me the envelope. You've got one shot. They're hosting a development camp in Madrid. Flight, food, stay covered. They saw a clip I filmed. Sent it over. They liked what they saw. Wait, you filmed me? He nodded. On my old phone. Sent it out on a whim. Didn't think they'd bite. My hands shook as I held the envelope. My name was typed on the front like I mattered. Your parents know? Ernesto asked. I looked down. Not yet. They need to sign off. You're still a minor. My heart, which had been ready to burst from joy, now sank. Getting my parents to believe in a dream that cost money? That would be the hardest match I'd ever play. When I told my parents, they didn't believe me. My mom thought it was a scam. My dad didn't say a word, just stared at the envelope like it had insulted him personally. Spain? Are you out of your mind? He said. It's all paid for, I told him. Food, travel, everything. And what if they lose you? What if you end up cleaning toilets in a foreign country? It took hours. Rami came over that night and sat with them. He spoke softly, respectfully. Said this was a chance kids like me never get. My mom cried. My dad finally sighed and signed the form. I left 2 weeks later. My whole neighborhood came to the airport. The lady at the check-in counter asked if I was famous. Not yet, I said. Madrid hit me like a cold splash of reality. Everyone at the camp had gear. Matching kits, personalized bags. They showed up with agents and entourages. I showed up with a duffel bag and a letter in broken Spanish. They sized me up fast. I was the outsider. The charity case. The drills were brutal. The coaches didn't smile. Everything was clocked, graded, analyzed. I messed up my first touch in front of the technical director. The other kids laughed. One of them, Mateo, a tall striker from Barcelona, made sure I knew I didn't belong. Your shoes still got dust on them, he smirked. I didn't answer. I just trained harder. Rami's voice stayed in my head. Discipline before dribbles. By the end of the first week, things shifted. The coaches started noticing. I wasn't the fastest, but I saw things on the field. Passes others missed. Space where others saw nothing. That's what Coach Rami trained into me, vision. We played a full match on day 10. My team was losing. The coach yelled from the sideline. Wake up, boys. I took the ball from midfield, danced through 2 defenders, flicked it past a third, crossed low into the box. Goal. No one laughed after that. Mateo tried to shove me after the match. I didn't flinch, just looked at him. He backed off. 2 days later, the camp ended. We were each called into a small office. Some came out beaming. Others were silent. When it was my turn, the man at the desk didn't smile. Leo, he said, flipping through a folder. You have no academy background. No formal training. But, he closed the folder. We want you. Real Madrid youth team. Initial trial phase. You'll stay in Madrid. Train. Go to school here. If you prove yourself, you stay. I wanted to jump out of my chair, but I stayed still. Yes, sir. Thank you. Don't thank me, he said. Thank whoever taught you to play like that. I stepped outside, heart pounding. Called Rami. He didn't pick up. Texted him. Nothing. Next morning, I got a message from an unknown number. This is Lena, Rami's neighbor. I'm sorry to tell you he passed away in his sleep last night. Heart attack. My hands went numb. I read it 3 times. Then I looked up at the stadium in the distance. You got me here, I whispered. Now I finish what you started. Training with Real Madrid wasn't football. It was war disguised in jerseys. I thought I knew how to work hard. Thought Coach Rami had turned me into a machine. But here, every player was the best from somewhere. The coaches didn't coddle. They corrected with whistles and looks that could melt your ego. I wasn't the top dog. Not even close. I was the kid with the beat-up cleats and a weird accent. But I didn't come to be liked. I came to earn a jersey. Days bled into weeks. Drills blurred into each other. Some nights, I fell asleep with my calves cramping, dreaming of 1-2s and overlapping runs. My Spanish got better. My game got sharper. And slowly, something shifted. I stopped chasing the ball. I started controlling the game. One coach, Sergio, started pulling me aside more often. You see before it happens, he told me. That's rare. That's Madrid material. Those words lit a fire in my chest. But the praise didn't sit well with everyone. Matteo was still there. Taller, stronger, louder. He scored goals. I built plays. And he hated that I was getting noticed. One day, in training, he came in with a studs-up tackle. Late. Dirty. I flipped in the air and landed hard. "Welcome to Madrid, Basura," he muttered. I got up, limping. No drama. No fight. Coach Sergio blew the whistle. "Leo, you okay?" "Always." Matteo got benched for a week. Respect is earned in moments like that. I was promoted to the U17s 3 months later. Faster players. Faster decisions. Less space. Less time. And then came the game. A friendly against the La Liga senior team's reserve squad. They needed a last-minute replacement. Coach pointed at me. "Suit up." I walked onto that pitch like I belonged. First touch? Heavy. Second? Clean. By the 60th minute, I delivered a through ball that sliced 4 defenders and led to a goal. The sideline exploded. Coaches yelling my name. Teammates swarming me. That night, my name trended on local football blogs. Who was Leo Martinez? Someone taped the blog article to my locker. The next week, I got a message. Federación Española de Fútbol invites you to a preliminary camp for U20 national team trials. I stared at the screen. The World Cup was coming. I might actually wear my country's colors. The first time I pulled on the national jersey, I couldn't breathe. It wasn't the fit. It was the weight, the history, the eyes of a country, the whispers of a million boys who dreamed the same dream I did. Only theirs never left the ground. I kissed the badge. Whispered, "For you, coach." Training camp was brutal. 100 hopefuls. Only 23 would go to the World Cup. I trained like a man possessed. Every drill, every sprint, every touch. I imagined Rami watching from the sideline, nodding, arms crossed. Every drop of sweat was for him. Every bruise, a thank you. I made the final squad. We flew to Qatar. The tournament was a blur of color, noise, nerves. The anthem hit differently on that stage. I didn't cry, but my legs trembled. We clawed through the group stage. Drew with Brazil. Beat Germany. I came off the bench each game. Quiet impact. Quick feet. Clean passes. Quarterfinals. I started. Assisted the winning goal. My name made headlines. Semifinals. Played 90 minutes. Nearly scored. Then, the final. Spain versus Argentina. Fate has a sense of humor. The night before, I didn't sleep. I walked the hotel halls. Called my mom. "Are you proud of me?" She laughed. "Of course I am. Your dad keeps replaying your goal like it's the lottery numbers. Tell him I still want new boots." I joked. Game day. The stadium was a volcano. First half. 1-1. Second half. 1-2. We were down. Coach pointed at me. 75th minute. "Go change the game." I ran on, heart pounding. 80th minute. I intercepted a pass. Fed it wide. Sprint into the box. Cross comes in. Volley. Net. 2-2. Extra time. Legs dead. Heart's louder than lungs. 118th minute. Corner kick. Ball swings in. Chaos. It drops to me at the edge of the box. I didn't think. I just hit it. Clean. Low. Perfect. Goal. 3-2. We won. They lifted me on their shoulders. Cameras flashed. Confetti fell. I held the World Cup trophy in my hands. Heavy, but not as heavy as the dream I carried to get there. The end.